The last time a human warship was seen in Empire space, 3 planets vanished in less than a day. That was a century ago. They said Earth was dead. They said humans were just a nightmare told to scare young cadets. But now, as alarms blare across Vortis Prime and a lone Terran dreadnought materializes in orbit with no clearance, no warning, and no fear, the Empire realizes something horrifying: the nightmare has come back. This isn't possible. The words barely escaped High Marshal Vectis before the alarms drowned out his voice. Every screen in the Vortis Prime command tower flickered red, warning symbols rotating as officers scrambled, shouting over each other. A vessel has breached the core defense perimeter, unauthorized warp signature. Vectis shoved past the chaos, eyes locked on the main screen. His voice came low and sharp. What kind of vessel? The officer hesitated, swallowing hard. Terran. A silence dropped heavier than the alarms. Impossible, Vectis growled, stepping closer. Terrans are extinct. The screen zoomed, focusing on the massive dreadnought now hovering above Vortis Prime. Its hull, old and scarred, still radiated menace. The name etched across its side made the blood drain from every face in the room. The Revenant. Before anyone could react, every screen went black. A single voice crackled through, laced with static and sarcasm. Guess who's back, you Xeno bastards? Vectis froze. Others gasped. Some didn't even understand the words, but the tone carried across species, contempt, confidence, and something worse, familiarity. The screens lit again, now showing a grinning face, human, unshaven, eyes cold. Commander Dane Voss. Vectis spat. He was dead, he vanished. Voss's image leaned closer, as if he heard. Did you miss me? Shut him down! Vectis barked. Shut down that signal, launch planetary defenses. They're offline, another officer yelled. He's inside the system grid. Outside, the Revenant loomed like a silent executioner. It hadn't fired a shot, yet every defense drone, every shield generator, sat useless. Voss tilted his head. No clearance? No warning? Yeah, I figured I'd skip the paperwork. Vectis slammed his fist into the console. Send interceptors. I want that ship vaporized. They won't reach him, a tech officer muttered. Send them, Vectis roared. Dozens of sleek Empire skirmishers shot from the hangars, heading straight for the Revenant. The tower watched in tense silence. And then they vanished. No explosion. No debris. Just gone. A beat. Then Voss's voice, mocking. Nice try. Want to send more toys? Vectis turned to his staff. How did he get here? How did a Terran warship breach our core? No one answered. No one could. Put me through to the council. Now. Voss's face reappeared, smirking. Talking to your bosses already? You're no fun. Why are you here, Voss? Vectis demanded. Voss's expression darkened. You tell me. What happened to your Black Ops fleet 5 years ago? The one that went to Earth? Vectis faltered. Oh, they didn't tell you? That's cute. Voss leaned back, folding his arms. They came to take something. They didn't make it home. You're threatening the Empire over ancient history? Vectis sneered. Ancient? No. Personal? Very. The screen flickered, replaced by Betty's voice, cheerful, crude. You Empire types are slow learners. Wanna bet how long before the Council begs? Voss's image returned, calm and deadly. You invaded Earth. You lied about it. Now I'm here to remind you, we don't forget. A low tremor shook the tower. The officers looked at each other, terrified. Relax, Voss said. If I wanted you dead, you'd already be dust. But you're gonna help me. You're gonna tell the galaxy what you did. Vectis snarled. Never. Suit yourself? I'll just pull it from your files. Betty? Already in, boss. Wanna crash their treasury next? Later. The screens changed again, this time showing secure council recordings. Dates, names, orders. Proof. No, Vectis gasped. This can't be. Yeah, it can, Voss interrupted. And it is. The whole galaxy's watching. Vectis lunged for a weapon. You will not. The lights flickered. The weapon dissolved in his hand, pulled apart molecule by molecule. I warned you, Voss said, voice cold now. Try that again, and I won't be so polite. The room fell into stunned silence. Voss stared through the screen, unblinking. You called Earth a death world, he said. You're about to find out why. And with that, the feed cut. Fleet Command has declared you a priority target. Surrender the vessel and submit to processing. Voss leaned back in his chair, boots propped against the console, chewing on something that wasn't food and wasn't gum. Processing? You're not a border patrol. You sent assassins to my planet. Remember that? Your presence violates Galactic Accord Section 7. I don't do paperwork, he interrupted. But I do remember watching your fleet crawl out of Earth's orbit and get swallowed by something it didn't understand. Static hissed on the comms before a new voice came through, sharper, colder. Commander Voss, I am Supreme Executor Marix of the Grand Armada. You are hereby sentenced to immediate vaporization. Betty's voice piped in, dry as sandpaper. Ah. I didn't get to finish my drink. Voss grinned. Marix, huh? That's new. Executor, do you even know what your last task force triggered when they trespassed on my homeworld? You will not threaten the stability of the Galactic Empire, Terran. You invaded a death world and lied about it. I'm not threatening stability. I'm highlighting consequences. We have over 8,000 ships mobilized. What do you have? Me. The channel went dead. Within minutes, the Armada appeared, blotting out stars. Voss cracked his neck, tossed the makeshift snack into a bin, and said, Betty, prep gravity spools and uncoil the slice engine. Let's show them what Earth's best leftover can do. Launching toys. First wave came fast, a straight line assault formation, predictable, flawless. Voss blinked twice and touched nothing. The Revenant responded like it read his thoughts. Graviton lashes ripped the front line into arcs of distorted mass, folding cruisers into silent flashes. The second wave tried a flanking pattern. Voss yawned. Nice move, Betty muttered. If it were 300 years ago. He rolled his wrist, the controls following him like water. He dragged a finger across the console, and a pocket of warp space opened mid-squadron, sucking 6 capital ships into a collapsed bubble of static. No explosion. No wreckage. Just silence. Empire command stations screamed across channels, their formations breaking, their generals yelling orders that no one could follow. Voss opened comms. You're in my neighborhood now. I don't recommend shouting. Marix returned to the feed, face twitching. You've declared war on the Empire. No, Voss replied, voice low. I'm finishing one. Betty snorted. Want me to drop their flagship into their rear supply convoy? I've been itching to try this one. Go for it. Seconds later, the Executor's Pride vessel blinked, gone from its frontline position. On dozens of Empire battle screens, it reappeared deep behind its own forces, where a massive logistics ship immediately began emergency maneuvers. They collided. The comms lit up in chaos. Voss cut in again. I'm not here to kill you. Not unless you make me. I'm here to remind you what happens when you poke a planet built on failure, war, and rage. You are one man. Wrong again. His hand rested on the console. Betty translated his biometric feedback into a burst signal. Within it, the Revenant's engine bloomed into something brighter than its hull could explain. Lines of spatial distortion flared from its flanks. The entire Empire fleet's AI detection grid blinked red, trying to predict the impossible. You see, Earth doesn't launch wars. We survive them. And then we get creative. Marix stammered. What do you want? Confession. Broadcast. Now. We will never. Voss turned the Revenant 45 degrees without propulsion. It floated sidewise like a cosmic predator circling prey. You will. He snapped his fingers. Half the fleet's internal comms turned against their own encryption, showing classified files, dates, logs, intercepted transmissions. Operation Bleeding Sky. Ring a bell? Gasps echoed across the bridge feeds. Malrix looked to someone off-screen, someone who failed to respond. That was sealed. How did you? Earth's a death world. We taught encryption to our toddlers. You think I can't get into your network? More silence. Then a council aide stammered over a new channel. What are your demands? Voss tapped his console twice. Admit you sent Black Ops to Earth. Admit they were lost. Admit you lied. Then step down. And if we don't? I start playing with your moons. The aide laughed nervously. That's impossible. A flash lit up the edge of their system. One of Vortis Prime's 3 moons vanished in real time. Betty chimed in. Oops. That one's on me. The aide shrieked. Voss smiled. 2 left. Choose carefully. Back in the Empire chamber, debate exploded. Some demanded surrender. Others shouted about pride and retaliation. Malrix tried to assert control, but his authority crumbled by the second. Entire factions disconnected from the broadcast, unwilling to be seen defending liars. Meanwhile, systems across the galaxy began replaying Voss's hacked feed. Word spread fast. The Empire had attacked Earth. They'd lost. Covered it up. And now, one man had brought their lies to light. Within minutes, subjugated worlds started broadcasting declarations of noncompliance. Uprisings flared. Council seats emptied. Betty's tone grew playful. You broke their toys, boss. Didn't even have to fire half the guns, he muttered. People just needed to see the truth. You gonna take a bow? He shrugged. Let them choke on it first. A final message went out. This was a warning. Next time, I won't bring a ship. I'll bring Earth. The Revenant's engines reignited, folding the vessel back into warp space, vanishing without trace. And the stars, once ruled by a silent empire, now whispered the return of the one thing they feared most, a human with a reason. You think you've won something? Malria's voice cracked across the fractured channel, strained but defiant. This is an incident. A scandal. The Empire will recover. Voss rolled his eyes, brushing dust from his shoulder like the words had weight. Is that what you're telling yourself? Cute. Your tech is impressive, yes, but you're still alone, human. And your little tricks won't last. Tricks? Voss chuckled, leaning forward. You think this is about tech? You still don't get it. You've never fought a human that doesn't care about winning. I'm here for the message. The feed flickered. Empire forces regrouped, distant signals tightening. Council fleets that hadn't fled now gathered, desperate to reclaim some shred of order. Executor, incoming readings show Revenant's core destabilizing. An aide whispered to Malrix, hoping the human hadn't heard. Voss had. Let me save you time, Voss said, voice calm. It's not destabilizing. It's waking up. Betty chimed in, almost gleeful. Fusion complete, boss. Core's all yours. Ready when you are. Malrix sneered. Whatever you're planning won't stop 8,000 ships. Voss smiled faintly. Won't need to. You ever hear of a phase inversion field? Ridiculous. That's theoretical. Not anymore. With a silent gesture, Voss activated the Revenant's heart. Energy pulsed through the vessel, light bending unnaturally around it. Ships near the dreadnought began to drift, gravity betraying them. Smaller cruisers spiraled uncontrollably. Comms crackled, sensors blinded. Phase sync in progress, Betty confirmed. They're gonna feel this one. Voss stared at the screen, watching as the fleet scrambled, firing blindly, terrified by something they couldn't target. Stop this madness! Malrix shouted. You'll destroy the sector! No. I'll remind it who's in charge. The phase inversion spread like a ripple, space folding. Not collapsing, changing. Voss twisted the field, focusing the distortion into a wave that swept across the armada. Weapons froze, reactors stalled. Entire systems went dark, ships stranded in pockets of warp time. Voss stood, stretching slightly. You send your best. You call it law. But when someone punches back, suddenly you remember fear. Cowardice! Malrix yelled. You fight from the shadows, hiding behind stolen tech. You call this stolen? You brought it to us, Voss said, stepping closer to the display. You sent your fleet. You left your dead behind. Earth just improved on your failure. The last remnants of the Armada flickered, caught in loops of broken causality. Ships collided with echoes of themselves, trapped in a ballet of destruction they couldn't escape. Malrix sank back in his chair, realization dawning. You've doomed us all. No, I've freed them, Voss replied. Freed the galaxy from your grip. From your lies. You ruled by fear. I just showed them you bleed like everyone else. Betty interrupted, voice light. Sector transmissions show rebellion on 14 core worlds. Uprisings in progress. That was fast. Voss nodded. Truth spreads faster than war. An aide approached Malrix, trembling. Orders, sir? Malrix stared at the screens, seeing nothing but his own downfall. Retreat. Pull back to the outer colonies. You don't get to retreat, Voss snapped. You get to kneel. Silence. I'm not killing you. That's too easy. You're going to live with what you did. You'll answer to them now, Voss said, pointing to the stars beyond. Malria's lips quivered, rage overtaken by helplessness. We are the Empire. Not anymore. Betty laughed softly. You want me to lock them in orbit for a while? Let the rebels have a shot? Voss shook his head. No. Let them go. Let them spread the word. No more hiding behind walls. He opened a final channel, broadcast system-wide. This is Commander Dane Voss of Earth. I came alone. I stood against your empire. And I didn't do it with armies or fleets. I did it because I had to. Because when you came to my planet, you didn't just invade. You woke something. You reminded us who we are. He paused, letting the silence stretch. You don't get to decide our fate. Not anymore. Earth stands. And we don't need permission. With a flick of his hand, the Revenant powered down its field, releasing the broken armada. Voss turned away from the display, voice low. They'll remember. Betty's voice softened. Where to next, boss? He glanced into the darkened void beyond, no hint of fear in his eyes. Home. The air inside the council chamber was thick with shame. One by one, alien dignitaries disconnected their feeds, not in protest, but in surrender. No commands were issued. No rebuttals prepared. Just silence. Voss watched them squirm, arms folded, face unreadable. He didn't need to speak yet. The truth had already spoken. You've shattered the chain of command, Betty said in his ear. Collapse is trending. Entire systems just declared neutrality. Some are even pledging allegiance to Earth. Cute. They're not pledging anything, Voss replied. They're just waking up. In the middle of the once pristine chamber, Supreme Executor Malrix remained seated, lips trembling, hands shaking. He had led fleets across galaxies. Now, he couldn't lift his eyes to meet the man who'd come alone. You have no claim here, Malrix muttered. Earth has no council seat. No jurisdiction. You're a renegade. You made it personal, Voss replied, stepping into view. You signed the orders. You labeled Earth a soft target, a backwater. You lied, and billions paid the price. You don't get to wrap yourself in protocol after gutting it. I was told Earth was unstable, hostile. You sent ships to steal what you couldn't build. You erased the mission. When it failed, you buried it. I buried your silence. This will cause galactic fracture, Malrix said, tone unsteady. Good. You want chaos? I want truth. You fear chaos because it means people might think for themselves. The feed, still broadcasting system-wide, captured every word. People weren't just watching. They were listening. The myth of the Empire unraveled with every breath. Maria's voice dropped to a whisper. Then finish it. Kill me. That's what you came for. No. Death's easy. Living with disgrace? That's punishment. Voss turned to the chamber cameras. This is the face of Empire, he said. This man ordered a covert invasion of Earth. When it failed, he silenced the truth. Now he begs for a quick end. But that's not justice. Justice is remembering. Betty's voice returned. Every planet in the Midrim just voted to leave the Alliance. You're officially trending as the man who broke the Empire. Voss smirked. Catchy. Outside the chamber, the Revenant hovered still and silent, the most feared vessel in known space, now a symbol of defiance. Not because it had fired the most shots, but because it hadn't needed to. A new comm feed opened. This is Chancellor Yevor of the Vorik Hegemony, a deep voice declared. Effective immediately, we dissolve all ties with the Central Council. We stand with Earth. More voices followed. Systems. Colonies. Stations. Voss didn't react. He didn't gloat. He simply stood and listened, letting the galaxy choose its path. Malric sat paralyzed, watching the world he'd built fall apart in real time. You can run, Voss said. But wherever you go, this moment follows you. No guards. No rank. Just shame. He turned his back on the executor. Betty chimed in again. So, you're not gonna throw him off a balcony? No. Not even a little push? Not today. They walked through the chamber, past silent guards who didn't move, didn't question. They weren't there to protect the Empire anymore. They were witnesses. Outside, the Revenant opened its bay doors. The ship hummed gently, awaiting its commander. As Voss stepped aboard, a junior Empire officer ran toward him, panting, frantic. Commander! Please wait! He turned slowly. My people, the officer stammered. We didn't know. Most of us believed the Council. We thought Earth was lost. Now you know better. Will you help us rebuild? Voss studied him. No uniformed lies, just fear and hope. A young face shaped by propaganda, now broken by truth. Help yourselves first. Then maybe. The officer nodded, tears forming. Thank you for not killing us. I didn't come here to kill you, Voss replied. I came here to show you we're still alive. He boarded the ship. The bay sealed. The hum of engines returned. Where to now? Betty asked. Nowhere, he said. Let them figure it out without us. So we did it? No, he answered. We started it. The Revenant turned. Behind it, the once golden banners of the Empire hung in tatters, flapping silently above a broken chamber. The ship drifted forward, lights dimming as it entered warp space. In its wake, not fire, but change. Voss stood at the helm, eyes closed, breathing steady. He told them Earth stood alone. Now the galaxy would learn what that meant.